December 7, 1941. Dawn breaks over the Hawaiian Islands. The air is warm, the sea calm. At Pearl Harbor, sailors rise for a Sunday routine, unaware of the storm approaching. At 7:48 a.m., the first wave of Japanese planes descends on the unsuspecting naval base. Over 350 aircraft launched from 6 carriers, including Akagi and Kaga, each packed with torpedoes and bombs. The mission: cripple the U.S. Pacific Fleet. In minutes, chaos erupts. Explosions shatter the morning calm. The sky fills with smoke and flames. USS Arizona suffers a direct hit. Her ammunition magazines ignite. Over 1,000 men are trapped inside as she sinks. The air is thick with the acrid smell of burning oil and metal. Panic spreads as sailors scramble for cover, but the destruction is far from over. At that moment, 180 Japanese aircraft are preparing for a second wave. The attack on Pearl Harbor has begun. Hours earlier, 230 miles north of Oahu, Vice Admiral Nagumo's fleet sails undetected. The Japanese plan, known as Operation Z, aims to deliver a decisive blow. Commander Mitsuo Fuchida leads the first wave. His orders: attack the battleships, cripple airfields. At 6 a.m., Fuchida's pilots receive a weather report. Clear skies, perfect visibility. At 6:10 a.m., the first planes take off. By 7:15 a.m., they approach Oahu. Fuchida radios back to the fleet. Tora! 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 The code that surprise has been achieved. On the ground, radar operators at Opana Point spot the incoming planes but dismiss them as a flight of B-17 bombers arriving from California, but it's already too late. The first bombs fall on Hickam Airfield, igniting fuel tanks and destroying hangars. Meanwhile, at Battleship Row, the USS Oklahoma capsizes, trapping hundreds inside. Within minutes, the harbor is a scene of devastation. On Ford Island, the USS Utah is hit by torpedoes and capsizes. Nearby, sailors watch helplessly as the USS Arizona erupts in flames, her superstructure collapsing in a shower of debris. Yet amidst the chaos, acts of heroism shine through. Chief Boatswain Edwin Hill swims to the Nevada to cast off lines, enabling her to move out of danger. On the Oklahoma, sailors fight to escape the overturned hull. Ensign Joe Taussig Jr., despite severe injuries, assists in the defense, but the odds are overwhelming. By 8 a.m., the second wave arrives, targeting ships and airfields still intact. The USS Nevada, attempting to escape the harbor, is battered by bombs. She runs aground to avoid blocking the channel. In just over 2 hours, 8 battleships are damaged or sunk. 188 aircraft are destroyed. 2,403 Americans are killed. The Pacific Fleet is severely crippled, yet not destroyed. In Washington, D.C., news of the attack reaches President Franklin D. Roosevelt by 1:30 p.m. His response is swift. By evening, he convenes with his advisors, drafting a speech that will echo through history. Roosevelt understands the gravity of the moment. America has been thrust into war. Meanwhile, across the nation, stunned citizens gather around radios, absorbing the shocking news. In naval yards, emergency repairs begin. The Pacific Fleet, though battered, must rise again. Across the ocean, Admiral Yamamoto reflects on the success of the operation, yet he is somber. He knows the sleeping giant has been awakened. His words, "I fear all we have done is to awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve," will prove prophetic. As the sun sets on December 7, 1941, the world stands on the brink of a new era. The attack on Pearl Harbor, meant to ensure Japanese dominance in the Pacific, has set the stage for a global war. In the days following the attack, the enormity of the damage becomes clear. 8 battleships, 3 cruisers, and 4 destroyers are heavily damaged or sunk. Yet the aircraft carriers, Enterprise, Lexington, and Saratoga, are untouched, away on maneuvers. This stroke of luck becomes a lifeline. The carriers will form the backbone of the Pacific counterattack. Salvage operations begin immediately. The Navy Yard becomes a hive of activity as workers labor around the clock. Meanwhile, the nation mobilizes. Recruitment centers are flooded with volunteers. Patriotism surges as Americans rally to the cause. Across the Pacific, Japan consolidates its gains, capturing Guam and Wake Island. But the attack on Pearl Harbor galvanizes the Allies. Britain and the United States unite in a coalition against the Axis powers. The conflict that will span the globe is now truly underway. What began as a tactical victory for Japan will lead to an epic struggle for dominance in the Pacific. As 1941 draws to a close, the U.S. military strategizes its next moves. In the Pacific, Admiral Chester Nimitz assumes command of the Pacific Fleet. His task: rebuild, reorganize, and retaliate. In the Atlantic, the Battle of the Atlantic rages on, with U-boats threatening vital supply lines to Britain. The Allies face a two-front war, requiring coordination and innovation. Meanwhile, in Tokyo, Japanese leaders celebrate their success, but concerns grow over America's industrial might. Intelligence reports filter in, suggesting that the U.S. is mobilizing on an unprecedented scale. Factories switch to wartime production, churning out tanks, planes, and ships. In Hawaii, salvage and recovery efforts continue as the Navy assesses the extent of the damage. Across America, the attack on Pearl Harbor has unified the nation. The sense of vulnerability is replaced with determination. The sleeping giant is fully awake, ready to fight back. The stage is set for a conflict that will reshape the world. The attack on Pearl Harbor marks a pivotal moment in history. It catalyzes the United States' entry into World War II, transforming a distant conflict into an immediate threat. Across the Pacific, battles unfold as Japan seeks to expand its empire. At home, families cope with the reality of war. Rationing, war bonds, and civil defense measures become part of daily life. The government implements the first peacetime draft, swelling the ranks of the armed forces. In Europe, the Allies gain a powerful new partner. Coordination between the U.S., Britain, and the Soviet Union strengthens, yet the path to victory remains fraught with challenges. The Axis powers hold vast territories. Technological and tactical innovations will be crucial. At Pearl Harbor, memorials rise to honor the fallen. The USS Arizona Memorial becomes a symbol of sacrifice and resilience. As the world plunges deeper into war, the lessons of Pearl Harbor endure. In the aftermath of Pearl Harbor, strategic priorities shift. The U.S. Navy focuses on aircraft carrier operations, recognizing their pivotal role. The lessons of December 7th drive technological advancements. Radar, sonar, and improved anti-aircraft defenses become essential. In the Pacific theater, the U.S. adopts an island-hopping strategy, aiming to cut off Japanese supply lines and isolate key positions. At the same time, intelligence efforts intensify. Codebreakers work tirelessly to intercept and decipher Japanese communications. This intelligence will prove critical in upcoming battles. Across the globe, the attack on Pearl Harbor reverberates. It prompts a reassessment of military strategies and alliances. The United Nations, formed in the wake of war, embodies a renewed commitment to collective security. As nations rally together, the tide of war begins to turn. From the ashes of destruction, a new era of cooperation and resilience emerges. The impact of Pearl Harbor extends beyond military strategy. It alters the course of diplomacy and geopolitics. The U.S. and its allies forge stronger ties, united by a common goal. In Asia, resistance movements gain momentum, challenging Japanese occupation. The attack galvanizes global resolve. Back in America, the war effort transforms society. Women enter the workforce in unprecedented numbers, filling roles vacated by men in uniform. Rosie the Riveter becomes an icon of empowerment. African Americans advocate for civil rights, leveraging their contributions to the war effort. The nation undergoes profound social change. In the Pacific, the U.S. Navy, now reinforced, prepares for crucial engagements. The Battle of Midway looms on the horizon, promising a decisive confrontation. Pearl Harbor is a catalyst for action, a reminder of the stakes at hand. As the Allies gear up for the challenges ahead, the lessons learned guide their path to victory. As the world reflects on the events of December 7th, 1941, the enormity of Pearl Harbor's impact becomes evident. It marks the dawn of a new era, defined by global conflict and collaboration. The attack propels the U.S. into a position of leadership, shaping the post-war world order. The sacrifices made at Pearl Harbor and beyond underscore the price of freedom and peace. The lessons of that fateful day resonate across generations, reminding us of the need for vigilance and unity. As the Allies advance toward victory, the legacy of Pearl Harbor endures. It serves as a testament to resilience and resolve, guiding future actions. The stage is set for the next chapter in this epic struggle, the fall of Singapore, a pivotal moment in the Pacific theater. As the shadow of war looms large, the world braces for what comes next.